AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Mike Triplett in 1 hour from right now. We'll talk some LSU baseball with Jared Mitchell next hour as well. We do have our post-combine mock draft roundup today.
Thank you.
Muse checked his email. Thank you, Muse. We'll get to that in a little bit. Coming out of the combine, maybe the biggest story for the New Orleans Saints was Jeremiyah Love. He ran sub 4.4 in the 40. And, oh, by the way, Jeremiyah Love, during the interview process, had this to say about how he would fit with the New Orleans Saints should they pick him.
I spoke with all the New Orleans Saints staff that was there. I feel like I fit in well anywhere. I feel like NFL or the coaches in the NFL have a plan for every player that they potentially want to draft. So, I'm blessed to go to the Saints. They'll find a way to use me like they did Alvin Kamara. So, just looking forward to go anywhere, blessed to go anywhere.
Okay. Saying all the right things, but they'd use me like they used Alvin Kamara, different coaching staff, but cool. Here's the problem for a lot of Saints fans who are sort of salivating over the idea of Jeremiyah Love. And I'm not coming at you with this conversation from a perspective of someone who doesn't want the Saints to draft Love. You know where I stand on this. It's not an anti-Jeremiyah Love thing. I just don't want to take a running back in the top 10 with the 8th pick. You can get value running back elsewhere. You know how I feel about it. It's not a Jeremiyah Love thing. It's a running back at 8 overall thing. Well, the Saints may not actually have that decision to make. Louis Riddick, who was spot on, by the way, about Tyler Shuck a year ago, major hat tip and flowers to Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick thinks that, he said this on the Dan Patrick Show Monday, that Jeremiyah Love may not even be on the board when the Saints pick.
Could Tennessee wind up taking him? Could Arizona wind up taking him? Could the Giants at 5 for sure wind up taking him? I absolutely think so. I absolutely think that he may not get past the Giants at 5. Look, they saw what they gave up, and I understand why they thought they maybe needed to give this up, meaning let Saquon go, but they saw the difference that he can make. Now, obviously, you need to make sure Saquon went to the perfect place with the perfect offensive line at that time. But Jeremiah is different. And I know for a fact, as I hear it all the time, it's what every head coach is after. We need guys who can win games on one play.
It is worth noting that he even corrected himself there, talking about Saquon going to the place with the great offensive line, of course, that being the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, it's much easier to run for not saying it's easy. It's easier to run for 2,000 yards when you have arguably the best offensive line in football blocking for you. He mentioned another team there, though, that super interesting because Vegas agrees. Coming out of the combine, the Titans, who have the 4th pick right now, are the betting favorite to land Jeremiyah Love with the 4th overall pick. That would be a big investment, no doubt, 4th overall. But last year you took Cam Ward. you got what you think might be your franchise quarterback. Jury's out. This would be a complimentary piece there. And Love was massively impressive at the combine. Man, he ran a 4.36, as we all know. At Notre Dame this past year, nearly 1,400 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. He's awesome. For what it's worth, the next best odds to take Jeremiyah Love, not New Orleans, it's the Commanders at 7. So the betting markets, and by the way, remember, there's very little betting value in the draft because the odds makers know their intel is so good by the time you get to the draft, they know what's going to happen. Overwhelmingly. It's not to say there's never a surprise. It's just to say overwhelmingly there's little value because like Fernando Mendoza right now, we know is going first overall. So there's no value and it's probably not even on the board anywhere. Titans, Commanders at 7. The Saints have the 8th pick, as you know, but the next best odds, not the Saints, it's the Chiefs at 9. And then the Saints at 8th. The Saints have the 4th best odds to take Jeremiyah Love, meaning as of now, and things could change between now and the draft, the odds are not in favor of the New Orleans Saints taking Jeremiyah Love, in large part because two of the teams with better odds to take Love than Saints draft ahead of the Saints. And you heard Louis Riddick in the cut we just played talk about the Giants who pick 5th. That would be 3 teams potentially who have a pick ahead of New Orleans that might be in line to take Jeremiyah Love. All that to say, Love going to the combine and running 4.36 basically may have put him ahead of the Saints' opportunity to draft him unless they want to trade up, which I wouldn't put past Mickey Loomis because that's how he approaches the draft. He said it so many times. They don't trade back. They identify a player they want. They're aggressive, and they go get him. They don't let the draft come to them. They go aggressively pursue the players that they want. And that's both worked at times, and they've missed at times, very, very notably. Marcus Davenport. So if Jeremiyah Love isn't the option, I think you're clearly looking at a couple of alternatives. One would be, is there another running back later in the draft that you covet that could make sense? And 2, is there somebody in free agency that could be available? Well, a couple of those dominoes fell today. The Jets have announced they will franchise tag Breece Hall. So Breece Hall will play under the franchise tag in 2026 at $14 million unless the Jets and Hall agree to a long-term deal. All that to say, Breece Hall will not be hitting unrestricted free agency. He will play for the Jets under the franchise tag, or they will sign him to a long-term deal. That's effectively where it is right now. The other one that's interesting today is Kenneth Walker, who we know was just named the Super Bowl MVP and is a former second-round pick. Well, Seattle is not going to franchise Kenneth Walker. And you can have whatever conversation you want about whether they should or shouldn't. I don't really care. I don't cover Seattle. I don't like Seattle. I don't care what Seattle does so long as it affects the New Orleans Saints. If you look at, again, I just told you, the franchise tag number for a running back is $14 million. If you look at Spotrac, as we reference here often, they put the market value for Kenneth Walker, and I love this tool that they have on their site. They put the market value for Kenneth Walker at $9 million, his average annual salary. So they are projecting a 4-year, $36 million contract for Kenneth Walker. So I'd present it to you this way. And obviously 4 years, $36 million thereabouts that $9 million figure is dramatically less than the $14 million you'd have to pay if you franchise tagged him. So would you want to look at a 25-year-old running back, give him a 4-year, $36 million deal thereabouts, average of $9 million per, very palatable, or go into the draft with a top 10 pick on a running back that's a bit of a crapshoot. For me, this is pretty easy. Now, I'm not telling you that Walker's going to hit free agency, that the Saints would be interested, that he'd sign. I'm just trying to illustrate what options are out there to contrast what we continue to talk about with the Jeremiyah Love tunnel vision. You see, with Kenneth Walker, you're talking about a guy that is, at this point in his career, 25 years old, still very much in his prime. We know that he has been healthy throughout his NFL career. He missed weeks 17 and 18 in 2024 with an ankle injury. That's it. He has been healthy. He has been durable. He has been available. He has been productive. He would be relatively affordable, especially for a high-performing running back who's been on a championship team. If you give me 25-year-old Kenneth Walker or draft Jeremiyah Love with the 8th overall pick, I'm not telling you that Walker is going to have a better career than Love. What I'm telling you is you're eliminating a variable of the unknown because you don't know if Jeremiyah Love is actually going to perform well and have a great NFL career. Trent Richardson was the former number 3 overall pick. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Jeremiyah Love. I'm just saying there's always uncertainty with the draft. With Walker, you know what he is as an NFL player already. And he would be available, and that would free you up at number 8 to take a player at a position of great need. I look at a situation like this and say, man, if it's Kenneth Walker, if it's Gainwell from Pittsburgh, or from Pittsburgh, formerly Philly, now Pittsburgh, look at some of the free agent runners that we've talked about here over the past few weeks, and it just illustrates the options, the decisions the Saints will have at their disposal, especially if you don't think Jeremiyah Love is going to be there at 8, which, judging by all of this data, it's suggesting there's a good chance you won't have the opportunity to draft Jeremiyah Love at 8, unless you want to give up more assets to move up to get him. And now that's something I think that is really not palatable. If you're moving up inside the top 10 and giving up future 1s or 2s to move up in the top 10 to go get a guy like Jeremiyah Love. Saints may have their hand forced, and it's a decision that I'd be in favor of. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You hear the commercials with our guy David DeLucci, who was here with us yesterday when he was playing baseball in the pros. Whenever he was in the offseason, when he was home, where was he? In his deer stand. Where did he buy his land? First South Farm Credit. Ben McDonald, former first overall pick. When it came time to buy his hunting property, who did Ben McDonald call? Well, the first overall pick, his first call was First South Farm Credit. And your first call should be as well. If it's recreational property for hunting, if it's that 100 acres, 1,000 acres, whatever it may be, to build your family's dream home. Maybe you want that acreage for agriculture, or maybe you want that property in Colorado or Wyoming or Idaho or Montana. Doesn't matter. First South Farm Credit can help finance land anywhere in the lower 48. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. Not got a quick break. Baseball Tigers took it on the chin last night. Embarrassing loss to Northeastern. Jay Johnson talked about the loss and what's ahead now, managing this team after a really lackluster week. We'll get into some of what Jay had to say. Also, Will Clapp, and now you probably have heard, he's announced his future plans now that he's retired, and he's not going far. Excited to talk about that when we come back. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, we always tell you if you've got an event coming up, I want you to think about Watermark and Renaissance. Your Renaissance is right there in Bluebonnet. They call it Southtown, right near I-10. So you exit Bluebonnet, heading toward Perkins. It's right there on the right. Beautiful, sprawling hotel with all the meeting space. The grand ballroom can host up to 500 people. It doesn't matter if you want to have a board meeting. Maybe your business is looking for a little retreat getaway. Well, you can do a whole board meeting there at Renaissance Baton Rouge. I mean, they have the beautiful pool area, workout facility. Tallulah there inside Renaissance Baton Rouge. Board meetings for 12 people. As I mentioned, the grand ballroom up to 500. Whatever event you're having, a wedding reception, an award ceremony, fundraiser, they're in the business of saying yes. So contact Allison Crump, a friend over there today, at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on.
Here's the 2-2, and there's a
Get out of
drive
here,
to
ball.
left. It is way back. Left fielder at the fence, going to watch
Let's
it sail
go.
out of here.
That's beautiful.
I told you he's a good guy to root for.
That is beautiful.
It's probably more of an indication of how important mindset is in baseball. And, the term I use is when you have psychological freedom, to play the game, competitively and freely. I mean, Eddie Ammon wasn't worried about a batting average, wasn't worried about anything. He was up there trying to take a great at bat, and he did. And I'm proud of him for that. And he just missed that pitch in the 9th inning, too, off a guy that's got a really good arm. Daniel Hardin put together good at bats. It was good to see, those freshmen just compete, and that's what we want them to do. We want the whole team to do that. And, hopefully that's what lands on all of the players to help them.
Not a landmark day in the history of Fighting Tiger baseball program with LSU losing to Northeastern. Really good program. Congrats to Mike Glavin and Northeastern on their win. I mean, it's, as you've heard it said a bunch. I mean, they won 49 games a year ago. They lost their whole rotation and a bunch from that team from a year ago. But still a good program. They've been a really good program in the CAA. And they came in. They were ready to play. Some have asked, hey, do you think LSU is fatigued 4 games in 4 days? I'm like, Northeastern was playing their 4th game in as many days. Like, they didn't look fatigued. Maybe the whole, what was it, 13 games in 18 days or whatever it has been since the start of the season. It's been a lot. It has. I think, I don't know necessarily that this is excuse making. I think it could certainly be an explanation where this is the part of, I think Hunt even wrote this over at LouisianaSports.net. I think he's right. You're at the part of the season that's just a bit of a lull. You have the hype around opening weekend, and then the second weekend you go down to Jacksonville in the Jax Classic, so you're elevated because you're on the road for the first time, you're playing some good opponents, and then you come home, and you got 2 weeks to the start of SEC play, and you play a bunch of directional schools, and you're expected to win, and there's just a little bit of a come down. LSU lost, when did last year they lost to Omaha? I mean, it happens. Don't get me wrong. Like, the way they played, indefensible. I mean, they were awful. And Jay's right. Mindset. Look at what happened when the younger guys who are they're talented enough to be on the LSU roster, they went in and played really well. I'll be curious to see what, if any, changes he makes with this game against the Cajuns on Wednesday over there on the road, because I normally look at those as a really good opportunity to play in front of somebody else's fans and sort of mimic and mirror what you're going to see when you go on the road in conference. So I would like to see guys like Seth Dardar go get ABs in front of someone else's fans in York and Caraway. I mean, look, those guys have played a lot of baseball at the Power 4 level, but not at LSU. And so, yeah, go feel that, see what that's like. But I'd also be really interested to see if he does, you give them an opportunity. You know what's interesting though? Whenever so I do the Locked on LSU podcast, as many of you know. If you don't, I'd appreciate a sub podcast or YouTube, Locked on LSU. So we do post game and after the baseball games, after football too. But anyway, and so I had the whole like thumbnail done and the title and description. Views is not in his head. I'm just sitting there going like, had the stream ready to fire up. It's like they're in the 7th and they're down 13-2. It's like Northeastern run rules LSU. You get the whole thing done, and then I'll be damned if they don't go score. I'm like, if there's ever a reason why you want your team to get run ruled, that was That was it. Instead, it was another hour and a half before I got to fire up the stream, man.
I changed the score probably about 8 times for every additional run that LSU tacked on. Like I just had, I had it all ready, set to go, and then they played for 4 hours, and I was like, oh man.
And that was a day yesterday where you had to do OTB and AFR.
Yeah.
So you had an early morning and a late night.
And old Jay and Mike Glavin just kept challenging everything. And I'm like, guys.
Oh, my God.
Come on. I love the competitive spirit.
What was the one, Jay? Oh, in the ninth, the play at second. There was a ground out at second.
That was just like, I think I even tweeted, I said, please no more challenges. Like,
there's a forced play at second.
Come on, man.
That was like...
I mean...
The whole you can't take him with you. In this instance, you should take it with you.
You should just take him with you.
Take it with you.
Like, I mean, poor Lynn and Ronnie are just talking about the snacks in the umpire room at one point.
They really sold that umpire room.
They did, though, man. I'm not going to lie.
Lynn also, this was one of those games where it was so bad that Lynn started... And I love Lynn Rollins, bro. This is not in any way a criticism. It's just a statement of fact. If you're watching the game, he's complimenting the strike zone.
Yeah.
Whenever they're talking about who was it, Gregson, who was behind the plate, and he just ate one right off the mask. I think Aaron Beatty was expecting a breaking ball. Whoever the pitcher was, I don't remember who it was. It didn't matter. Maybe it's Fontenot, and threw a fastball, and so it was just unimpeded. Didn't go off the glove. I mean, it was just fastball straight to the mask, and so the umpire just ate a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right off his face. And so then as they're killing time, Lynn's like commending him for getting beat up, and he's like, but that strike zone has been so consistent. we're at that point of the night where we are commending the man who just got plunked right in the face on his strike zone in this absolute atrocity of a baseball game. And it was an atrocity of a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
But those happen over the course of 56. Tigers will try, see if they can do better on Wednesday when they head to Lafayette, take on the Cajuns. They'll need to focus in, certainly. ULL lost their first couple games. They've won 9 of 10 since. The other thing that, if you are looking for something notable, that I do think it's time we start to look and say, okay, that's got to get better. It's early, and I'm not overreacting to it, but it's got to improve. Cooper Williams was really good in the first, and then he just fell apart in the second. And some of it was, like we talked about, the first hitter of the second inning, it was a tapper to second base, and Pearson was playing first. Instead of going to cover the bag, he ranged over in front of Dardar. Williams was late to cover, but to be very clear, go back and watch it. That's a play. Pearson's got to go cover first base. That's a grounder. That's Dardar's ball. And maybe Williams is out of it there. But Williams and Zach Cowan both really struggled in that game. And, Jay was asked about afterwards the slow starts of both of those guys.
If I simplified it to one thing there, I just think he's missing over the middle of the plate and he's gotten hit. That's about all I can come up with. But it's important to those guys, and, we do need them to be the best that they can be in a capacity to help this team, and I believe if they are, they will and they can, and I believe that'll happen. But I think they've missed over the plate a little bit more than they did a year ago.
And make no mistake, LSU needs those two guys to be really good. Zach Cowan was outstanding at the back of ball games a year ago, and Cooper Williams is possibly your best left-handed option out of the bullpen. Look, Santiago Garcia came here from Oregon with the idea of being a situational left-handed reliever. But Cooper Williams is, 6'9" and throws mid-upper 90s? Like, that guy, you need him to be awesome. And he has not been so far this year. Cooper Williams is sitting there with a 6.75 ERA. In 5 1/3, he's allowed 7 runs. He's walked 2. He's given up a homer. And Cowan, his ERA is ballooned to 13.5. I mean, 6 runs in 4 innings pitched. I mean, it's just, he's not missing bats. And that's uncommon because last year, the thing Cowan did so well with that changeup was stay low in the zone, he'd miss bats or induce weak contact. And he just has not been able to do that this year. Again, he's had 4 appearances on the season. I had it in front of me. I think he's had 4 appearances on the season. Yeah. So it's early. I'm not hitting the panic button. But those are 2 guys you are going to need to pitch key innings for you throughout the course of conference play. Hopefully they can get it together. Oh, by the way, thank you. So Michelle Southern texted me. So the game tomorrow is on 100.7 The Tiger, not on Eagle 98.1. Eagle will have the Matt McMahon show. So the Matt McMahon Coaches Show will be on Eagle 98.1. Baseball game tomorrow, if you're looking for it on radio, will be on 100.7 The Tiger, part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. So if you're not familiar, I don't mind like giving you a peek behind the curtain. So the way that it's determined which sport goes on which station, whichever sport is the current in season, the first in season gets precedent for Eagle, and then it goes on down the list. So for example, like during football season, obviously basketball starts in October, November. When football's on, basketball goes to 100.7 The Tiger. When basketball season is on and then baseball starts, if basketball has a game, basketball's on Eagle and then baseball goes to Tiger. So tomorrow with the Matt McMahon show being on Eagle 98.1, baseball goes to 100.7 The Tiger. So to help us spread the word, if you're in the Greater Baton Rouge area on Wednesday and you're looking for the baseball game on radio, it will not be on 98.1. It'll be on 100.7 The Tiger. But we actually talked about this today, that have a plan to make sure on our socials we're putting that out there because there are changes this time of year with so many events. We'll put it on our socials every day so you know where you can catch and on what affiliate, on what station you can catch each of the game. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. Speaking of Michelle Southern, she actually texted me a picture earlier today of her drinking Evamore. And I got my bottle right here. Went into the grocery store. Rouse's has it. Find your local retailer. Bought the 4-pack of the 64-ounce bottles. Drink a couple of them a day. Healthier alternative, natural artesian water. As they say, source matters. And this is a Louisiana product. Ancient underground aquifers. It never touches air until you uncap it and take that first delicious all-natural sip. It's Evamore. Drink it side by side with something else. Find out for yourself. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Evamore.com. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Will Clapp has his future plans set, at least his immediate future, now that he's announced his retirement. I'm fired up for him. And we got our mock draft roundup, as promised. Just 24 hours in the making. Stay with us here at AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident, not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. All different types of accidents. Yes, you know them for car accidents or big truck wrecks. You've seen the billboards and you've seen the commercials with Gordon for years where he's standing on the big rig. But workers' comp, slip and fall, offshore, maritime, any type of accident. You've been injured. It's not your fault. You could be entitled to damages to help you get back to your life and your way of life. And Gordon and his team are experts. They've recovered billions of dollars for their clients. They can help you as well. Don't go it alone. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon and get it done.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like a deer, man, her eyes light up. She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on.
Big shout out Will Clapp. Late last week, Clapp announced his retirement from the NFL. What a run he had, as we talked about. from New Orleans, brother Martin, goes to LSU, two-time first-team All-SEC, drafted by the Saints, makes the team, carves out a career for nearly a decade, Saints, Chargers, Bills, back to the Saints. It was unfortunate that Clapp's career ended with the injury in the first preseason game this year with that Liz Frank, but he gets to retire a New Orleans Saint, and now the New Orleans Saints have announced Will Clapp is a new offensive assistant. So congrats to Will Clapp. He'll still hang around the Saints, hang around the organization. You know, one of the things that I recall, Muse, I may have a good pull this audio. When we talked to Will, when he came back, to the Saints, remember, he was in L.A., the Chargers, with Kellen Moore. And so we talked to Will back, I think it had to be in the summer, whenever he signed with the Saints. And he talked about being a veteran player and helping the younger guys, kind of being a coach on the field, even with the injury and everything. So this makes so much sense for a guy that was kind of an on-field coach anyway, a coach in the locker room as a veteran, to sort of transition right into this role. I don't know that I could think of anything better. A guy that knows the game, super high football IQ, loved by his teammates, respected as well, knows, obviously, Kellen Moore has since his time with the Chargers and now back in New Orleans. And remember, Jari Evans had been in that role, and Jari left and took a job with Mike McCarthy's staff in Pittsburgh. Of course, McCarthy had Jari when Jari left New Orleans, went and played under McCarthy in Green Bay, and now is coaching under McCarthy in Pittsburgh. So you had an opening for an assistant, an offensive assistant there to help with the offensive line, and Will Clapp can seamlessly step into that role. So congrats to Will Clapp. Fired up for him, and he's one of those dudes that deserves all the good things. Deserves all the good things in life, so I'm happy for him. That's going to be great. All right, it's after further review. Now, we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. I always love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, as we say, together we roar. You can always go to the website if you want to learn more, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. And you can see more and learn more about the Championship Health Partnership. And love to tell you, man, because we've told you about the great NIL deals and NIL partnerships with the Lake and the LSU Tigers as the Championship Health Partner. And now, as we transition sort of out of football season or from basketball season into baseball season, you're going to see so much about the great championship partners and the NIL athletes that LSU has, from Monster Milam and Chris Stanfield and so many great Tigers. And they trust Derek Curiel. They trust Our Lady of the Lake with their health and keeping them in the game, as do you and I and everyday champions. Case and Evans. Love telling you much more about the baseball Tigers trusting Our Lady of the Lake. Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar. Okay, hit me with some NFL music, Muse. It's been a minute since we've gotten to do this. Normally reserved for our, do we play this on What to Watch or What We Learned? When do we do this one?
I believe this is What to Watch.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, it's 4:40. Hey, Paul, you think Muse is going to be all right for this one? Or is he just zoning out over there? Oh, you forgot to turn on your mic. I think that just gave
start here.
I think that just gave us the answer, didn't it, Paulie?
He's a little zoned out already.
Push the wrong button. Muse, it's the it's
Yeah,
the one.
it's there.
It's that one right there.
I turned mine on instead. They're right next to each other.
No doubt.
I mean, they're right there.
I get it. Just you were
Kinda
thinking hit the
happens.
one in the middle. No, seen multiple.
No.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, no. No. Just yakking on a bone.
Nosing through the trash.
He got it up. Combine was last week. And so I asked Muse to scour the interwebs and put together a post-combine consensus mock draft. What are the experts saying? about who the New Orleans Saints might select with the 8th overall pick. For what it's worth, Jordan Reed over at ESPN has today a 2-round mock draft. I don't think you included this one, did you? I don't see it on there.
No, it's there. I just included pick 8. I thought we were going to do just 8. So actually, it was the first one.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's the first one that I put on there.
So Reed has the Saints at 8, taking Jeremiyah Love. And then I actually love this in round 2. So the Saints have the 8th pick overall. And then in round 2, they have pick 42 overall. And he's got him taking Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. And the Saints obviously are in the market for a wide receiver. And this is one of those things where I could very, 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 very much get on board with the Saints taking best available at 8 if Tate or Tyson aren't on the board, or if they have injury concerns with Tyson and so they bump him down a little bit if Tate's already gone. Like, I don't think you need to force it with a wide receiver at 8 because I think there's great value at receiver in this draft. Like, you might be able to pop a Jeremy Bernard at 42. I'm not saying it has to be Bernard, but I mean, just when you look at some of the other receivers that are sort of projected around that spot, I mean, Denzel Boston from Washington, he has going early in round 2. Even after the Saints pick, later in the draft, he in round 2, there's another one in here that I wanted to get to. I'm trying to scroll and find it now. Chris Brazzell from Tennessee, who lit up the clock. Malachi Fields from Notre Dame. Skylar Bell, I don't know much about, from UConn, is on there. A couple of the Indiana wide receivers you might see late round 1, early round 2. Casey Concepcion, does he jump into the end of round 1, or is he a round 2 guy? All that I think is going to be really interesting to see. So I'm looking best available for the Saints at 8 because they need a lot. Doesn't have to be a receiver. It'd be great if it is, but I don't want to see Jeremiyah Love. But anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 8 mock drafts that Muse went and found. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 had the New Orleans Saints taking Jeremiyah Love. They're Jordan Reed from ESPN, Trevor Sikkema from Pro Football Focus, Ryan Wilson from CBS, Lance Zierlein at NFL Media, and the Draft Network. That's probably going to be the most common mock draft selection. And Ross Jackson over at Louisiana Sports.net. Thanks for including that one, Muse. Support the home team, huh?
Oops. Forgot that one.
Come on, man. Ross Jackson's mock draft is live at LouisianaSports.net. By the way, it's a Saints 7-round mock.
And it's free.
Always free. No paywalls. LouisianaSports.net. Bookmark it today, please. Just go to the website and just start clicking on things. Please. Just click and click and click. And stay on pages for a long time and then click more pages and just help us out. So it's interesting, outside of Love, who the other picks were. Nate Tice and Charles McDonald at Yahoo pick Carnell Tate. It'd be interesting to see if Tate does fall to 8. Now, if Tate falls to 8, we know the Saints are taking. I mean, they'll run the card. I mean, a wide receiver from Ohio State, Mickey might leave New Orleans, go to Pittsburgh, and sprint the card up to the commissioner. Could happen that way. Might write it in his own handwriting.
Probably, yeah. How's the relative athletic score? Do we know yet, or this finalized from the combine?
Does it matter?
It can only sweeten the deal.
I mean, the importance of the relative athletic score when we're talking about Ohio State wide receivers negated.
Yeah.
Or any player from Ohio State. Nate Davis also with Carnell Tate. And the most interesting one on here is David Bailey. Justin Mello of SI is the Saints taking David Bailey. Wouldn't hate it. The Saints could certainly use defensive front 7 help. Inside, outside, or at linebacker. Interior defensive line is what I mean. Edge or at linebacker. I think the question is, the question will normally be, would you take a defensive tackle or an off-the-ball linebacker at 8? In this situation, I go, if it's the best player on your board, you take him because you need help in a lot of different places. But so much that'll be determined by what the Saints do in free agency before they ever get to the draft. But a lot of people projecting the Saints to take Jeremiyah Love, but as we mentioned a bit ago, the betting favorite for Jeremiyah Love is 4 overall to the Tennessee Titans. So little mock draft roundup there coming out of the combine. Next up, of course, pro days and then top 30 visits. So we'll have much more of an evolution here as we get closer to the NFL draft. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, go to parishrestoration.com. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Patented non-toxic dry fog. Patented, nobody else can do it. Non-toxic, safe for people, pets, plants. Dry fog, meaning you don't have to worry about your sheetrock or your carpet or your furniture or your belongings. It's a dry fog. They'll spray. It'll get into every nook and cranny. It'll kill everything. Mold, other harmful pathogens. As soon as the fog dissipates, you're back in your home, office, church, school, whatever it may be, gym, workout facility. Clear, clean smelling, free of harmful pathogens, sanitized. It's Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right. Mike Triplett in 13 minutes from right now. A little free agency primer with Mike Triplett. We'll probably spare you the Mad Libs. We'll get to that later in the offseason. And Jared Mitchell in 30 minutes from right now. What does he see from these Tigers? What's ailing him right now? SEC Network, former Tiger great. We'll talk to Jay Mitch in about 30 minutes from right now. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. Muse will do Tigers and the pros next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Call now or 1hourbr.com. Hey, remember, at River Cities 1 Hour Air, they've got more than twice the amount of 5-star Google reviews than the next closest competitor. The reason, if you've ever worked with River Cities 1 Hour Air, becomes very obvious because they're the best. Rose Beeler found this out. She mentioned Cole, her technician. Cole was great, very knowledgeable and friendly. He explained everything to me so I could understand. I'd love to have him come to my home the next time for maintenance of my unit. He sure knows his job, that's for sure. Highly recommend Cole. 10 out of 10, 5-star review there from Rose Beeler for River Cities 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Nailed it. Wrapping up hour number 2. Mike Triplett's here in about a dozen minutes from right now, but right now mute. So has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
The NFL has released the 2026 All-Combine team.
Okay.
Couple former Tigers making it for the offense.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Wide receiver Xavier Thomas, not really surprised. I mean, 4.28 40. It's pretty impressive work out there. He's going to make that list. And then how about Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback on the offensive All-Combine team, just continuing to have a great draft process for him and hopefully climb those draft boards. So congratulations to both of those former Tigers. World Baseball Classic gets underway Friday. The United States plays Brazil. Today they had an exhibition against the San Francisco Giants. Paul Skeens towed the bump for Team USA. Captain America Paul Skeens. 3 innings, gave up a hit and a run, didn't walk anybody, struck out 4. His first start in the World Baseball Classic will come on Monday, March the 9th, against Mexico. Alex Bregman was also in the lineup for Team USA. He went 1 for 3. Dinger. Long home run to left field for Breggs. Pretty solid day. And by the way, Team USA is beating the San Francisco Giants 15-1.
Take that, San Francisco.
What'd they do to you?
I love San Francisco.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But no city is greater than the United States of America.
That's true.
Would you cheer for Baton Rouge or the USA?
The USA.
No doubt. Love my town. Wasn't born here, but spent most of my life here. Tell you what, I ain't finna rise up against the USA. No. We are citizens of the United States. We are residents of Baton Rouge. unless if you're a resident of somewhere else. But you're a citizen of the country. You're a resident of the city, town, state.
Tari Eason turned in
Go,
9.
USA! You just missed a horse. Do I have to?
Well, it's on the same.
I mean.
Look, we got World Baseball Classic coming. We got plenty of time to dust off the Ian Dark drop.
I can't wait.
I know. 9-6 for Tari Eason last night. That's Tigers and Pros.
Presented by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned. In Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Get by and test drive one today, y'all. Start online. If it's on the lot, it's online. See the entire inventory, new and certified pre-owned. But I'm going to tell you what will sell you on a Volkswagen more than anything. Sit behind the wheel of one. Drive it. You'll get it. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, Mike Triplett's coming up right after SportsCenter. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
So put a button here on hour 2. I get an opportunity to remind you about Arco Power Systems. And one of the most impressive things, anytime I'm ever going to work with a new client, I want to learn everything about their business. If I'm going to put my name on it and endorse it. And so I am very passionate about the businesses that I have the privilege to endorse and to represent. And one of the things, maybe the thing that was most impressive about Arco Power Systems when we first sat down and were having these conversations, when storms come, they have literally had National Guard members, Black Hawk helicopters, pick up the Arco Power System guys, the workers, the team, and bring them to sites to help get power on. They can sell, service, and install and maintenance your Generac industrial standby generator. You need a generator for your business, your commercial industrial facility? Arco Power Systems.